The first-person adventure game has been a surprisingly divisive topic in gaming in recent years. Sometimes called walking simulators, their lack of interaction has proven to be polarizing for a lot of players. Eastshade entered the fray in early 2019 and received good to great scores from critics. It's been on Game Pass for 6 months now, and it may have tempted you once or twice. Let's find out if Eastshade is a game pass or a game fail.
Welcome, friend!
You play as a painter who is shipwrecked on an island with nothing but an easel. The goal is to paint 4 specific scenes to honor your mother's memory. To access the locations for these paintings, you need to acquaint yourself with the local community.
What do you say? If you make me a painting, I'll teach you how to make twine.
The citizens feel like real people with their own complex quirks, and their stories intertwine in surprising ways. We want to know more about this world and help the people in it.
Oh dear. Oh no. I've done something terrible.
Eastshade draws more within the lines of the common adventure game. The primary gameplay mechanic is painting. You'll create art to fulfill various requests, but the actual painting process is really just taking a picture, with a twist. It's a neat union of gameplay and tech. There are also more traditional puzzles to decipher, even if it regularly falls back on learning a vocabulary term and asking the locals about it.
Well, I suppose you've already connected the dots.
Eastshade's world is nice, but getting around it isn't. You walk slowly, which makes backtracking between locations a chore. Searching for items in big, open areas can also grate on the nerves. The game encourages you to get lost in its world, but it takes it a bit too literally.
How enchanting!
It's easy to lose your way, and there's no map to follow until well into the adventure. Even then, it's of limited use with few landmarks. A compass would also help, but there isn't one. The lack of direction plays against the game's objectives since it makes us weary of venturing forth into unknown territory.
Be safe, traveler!
The game's currency system is another sore point. At first, it's simple. Complete quests, earn glowstones, and then spend them to pay the toll for access to the big city.
Well, looky here, you've gone and painted the gazebo view. Are you willing to sell it?
Once you get there, you get a quick lesson in urban economics. Everything is expensive. From quality of life upgrades like a bike to quest items, you will always be making hard choices on how to drain your bank account. And those glowstones don't come easy. You only get them from completing quests, completing commissioned paintings, or selling off junk. In the end, it all just feels like a way to pad the game's length.
We're glad to have you join the gallery.
We hardly ever discuss technical issues in Game Pass or Fail, and we tend to give indie games a longer leash. But even on our solid PC, Eastshade is one of the worst performing games we've played in a while. There's a lot of tearing, stuttering, and to pop in. The merely passable visuals certainly don't justify the problems. The voice acting is also a mixed bag. Some performances capture the characters well.
You must be the wise witch Flera, curer of all ills.
Some sound amateurish,
They're aquatic rodents, essentially. Like to live in watery caves.
and others are hard to understand without subtitles turned on.
I might, but only if you meet the right requirements.
It's disappointing that there are still so many issues 2 years after its initial release. Game Pass has a lot of adventure games available. On the hardly interactive walking simulator side, the progenitor of the genre, Dear Esther, is included, but it's a polarizing game where the critics are concerned. Fulbright's Gone Home and Tacoma are also available if you want something a lot more polished. From there, the options truly expand if you're looking for something more traditional. Full Throttle and Day of the Tentacle are LucasArts classics, and they've both been remastered and reworked by Double Fine. Night in the Woods and Oxenfree are side-scrolling adventure games with great stories, and the former was our Adventure Game of the Year in 2017. Tell Me Why is Dontnod's latest refinement of the Telltale formula, though critics haven't really settled on a consensus. No matter your taste in adventure games, Game Pass has plenty of options, so you can be picky. Now it's time to find out, is Eastshade a game pass or a game fail?
I don't ever want to leave.
Eastshade is truly a mixed experience. The world is great and the stories are genuinely engaging. There's also more interaction than in the average walking simulator, and the painting mechanic is an interesting twist. Its lack of polish in both gameplay and technology is really what makes it hard to recommend. When you start considering all the excellent comps available on Game Pass, it makes it even more challenging to invest the time. If you've already played the classics we've mentioned, it's worth fighting through the problems to experience the story, but there are easier and more engrossing ways to get your adventure fix. Eastshade is a game fail. For next week's episode, the randomizer selects Alan Wake.